Hi everyone, and welcome back to the Family First Sunday with UCR Arts. Today is a very important day because it marks the beginning of Pride Month, a time in which the LGBTQ community comes together to celebrate their identities. Historically, Pride was a protest sparked by trans women activists such as Marsha P. Johnson and Sylvia Rivera. Together, they rallied members of the community to push back against police brutality and the suppression of their identities. Pride was born from activism and remains an important part of the queer community. Queer poetry has a long history, the earliest examples dating back to the ancient Greek poet Sappho and the Renaissance artist Michelangelo. There are also famous examples in a few of Shakespeare's sonnets and Emily Dickinson's work as well. Marsha P. Johnson herself took to poetry to talk about her experiences as a Black trans woman. Her poem Soul was one of her more famous works that advocated for queer people. She often reminded her audience that the division between queer and straight doesn't really matter if you ain't got soul. Today's activity focuses on poetry and identity. This project is very near and dear to me because I personally struggled to openly express myself as a non-binary bisexual. For a long time, I knew I was different, but I didn't know how or why. I couldn't express why I felt this way until very recently. That's why I want to use poetry, an artistic medium used by many queer activists, to express ourselves. So today is all about searching deep inside and letting your true colors shine with our Pride poetry activity. Here are some supplies you'll need for today's activity. Some plain white paper, some colorful construction paper, a glue stick, a pencil, and finally, a black pen. First thing you're going to want to do is start writing some poems that relate to your identity and some color imagery. Right now I'm writing down a haiku, which follows a 5-7-5 syllable format. Here I have written, "Purple raindrops fall, lovingly they fall on me, happy tears join too." Here I am doing another simple poem format. This time it is the anachronistic format. It usually starts with a single word. I wrote the word purple, and with every first letter, I am going to write a poetic phrase. So for my anachronistic poem, I wrote punctual and to the point, understanding of others, rolling with laughter down grass hills too, poignant, thinking and talking with grace, loving and sweet as can be, everything listed is a perfect description of me, and everything spells out purple in the end. Our third and final type of poem is the freestyle poem, which does not follow any rigid structure. It's kind of just a go with the flow kind of poem, as long as it kind of has some flow to it, which is my favorite style of poem because I just like to write down and just go with the flow. So for my poem, I wrote, "Let me be purple. For as long as I can remember, I've always been purple. Some are red, some are blue, and yes, it's true. Some days I was more crimson, garnet, or ruby. Other days I was more cerulean, lapis, or sapphire. But deep down, I've always been lavender, lilac, or indigo. I saw beauty in every shade of red and blue. I've loved reds and blues all the same. But for myself, I was both and neither at the same time. So if it's not too much trouble, let me be purple instead." So now that I have my poem all finished, I am going to formally write it down in black ink in clear, legible handwriting. And then I am going to take that white page and I am going to glue it onto my purple construction paper with a glue stick. And after we've laid that page down nice and flat, I'm going to take that black marker again and I'm going to go over the construction paper and just draw a bunch of little sketches or symbols that symbolize who I am and what I represent. So for me, I chose different purple flowers like hyacinth, lavender, and lilacs and irises. You can use whatever you want, whatever it is that symbolizes who you are to the world. All right, and we are all finished. This is the final result. I'm so happy with the way it turned out, and I am so curious to see what you guys come up with. Thank you so much for joining me today, and I'll see you next time.